Many things exchange themselves for wisdom. Dreams are replaced by wisdom, whether you reach them or give up on them. It's an even exchange, one for the other. We don't remember in days. We remember in moments. I don't remember the first day I rode a bike, but I remember the smell in the air and the excitement in my heart. And that's what stuck to that memory. And every day can hold within it something to remember for a good reason. Even a bad day can be buried beneath a great memory, even if it was made specifically to wipe it out. Until you go to bed, you still have a chance to change the day and make it great. Well, we aren't people. We are souls having a human experience. And not living the life we have, not exploring the world while we get a chance, not learning to love and learning how to be loved, not experiencing all there is to be experienced is something more people likely regret in their final hours than anything else. People who make movies that are rooted in the past or in historical events, they have to have a gift. They have to have a gift and the ability to tell a story and make it interesting enough to gain the interest of those who were not born yet, those who were not there, or sometimes those who were there who didn't care to know more the first time it unfolded. Telling a story in a way that's captivating enough to allow them the platform to tell it in a way that allows the story to really shine through in the best possible way, in a way that touches your heart, your mind, and your soul. Live in the moment and take in as much of it as you possibly can. We spend so much time unintentionally avoiding the wonders that unfold before us. We view our world through a pocket-sized screen and make records of what we're not truly experiencing so that we can share only maybe 10% of that moment with others who likely won't even watch it. And we all do it. I do it. And when I do it, I might pull out my phone and take a photo of, one or two songs at a concert, or one or two presents being opened by my children, or one or two shots of a nicely plated meal that I'm about to enjoy. But then I put it away, and I enjoy the rest of that moment for everything it truly is. And I use those records I sacrificed a moment of an experience for to make as a reminder to have for myself when I'm unable to do these things anymore. I can no longer climb that mountain, but can rather relive the 10% of it that I saved for myself, not for anyone else. But I only capture a quick piece of it if I really feel I must. I remain nearly entirely present, and I refuse to watch Michael Bublé on a 3-inch screen when he's only 100 feet away in 3 dimensions, and the lights and the music surround me in a way that a smartphone could never replicate. Live in the moment. The world is such a phenomenal place. And we as a culture use the tools we've created, photography, movies, books, to market that world to others within it as good or bad or this or that. As a society, it's as if we have a need to make things black and white, when in reality, the world is the darkest, scariest, cruelest place we know of. And yet, the most wonderful, magnificent, beautiful place at the same time. The earth, like many other things in our lives, is not one or the other, but rather we are the deciders in any given moment. We manifest the world we see in front of us. And by making a decision to see the world for all the good it is instead of the bad, we create that which we envision. I don't believe in the traditional God, but I do believe in God. I don't believe there's a conscious being that watches us and makes decisions about our afterlife based on the decisions we make in our present life. I believe God is the infinite energy in the universe that we're all a part of and all tapped into. On a subatomic level, everything that exists is made up of nothing more than energy and information. There's no matter but that which is collectively created using energy and information from everyone and everything within the universe. And I believe it explains everything from human history to many seemingly unexplainable phenomena, such as psychics and ghosts and quantum physics and so on. It explains why we can fall asleep with a problem on our mind and the solution will just come to us. It explains why we may invent something in our minds that is yet to exist, and we don't pursue it, only to find a year or two later someone else does just that, and you think, hey, that was my idea. But the information was there in the universe, and each time something is accessed or tapped into, you think about it, someone else thinks about it, a bit more energy goes into that, allowing any and everyone and everything else to slightly more easily access it. I understand that I don't have the traditional understanding of God. I'm fully aware of that. But I truly believe us all to be connected throughout the universe, and that the subatomic, invisible level of interconnection between everyone and everything, bridging space, time, matter, consciousness, and subconsciousness, that's God. It's why many of us realized very early on in the pandemic that we became much closer together with one another while being far apart. Social distance, and we became closer. It's deep if you think about it. Writing is more intentional and deliberate than words spoken in everyday conversation. And since constructing a piece of writing is typically a much longer process, and of which the end result is often considerably lengthier than a verbal response or a declaration made on impulse, such results tend to be that of great precision and clarity. Now, some might say that such writing gives the reader a false notion of intellect from the writer, but I say different. With something as deliberate as the written word, I believe it to be a true representation. Possibly the truest representation of someone's intellect, someone's intent. We have a primal desire to connect with one another. And as an artist, there are no rules, no limits or boundaries that tell us what we can and can't create, what we can and can't share, what we can and can't inspire. And many times we have the foresight to see what's there to create long before it's created, and then decide while creating it what story we want to tell, whose imagination you want to provoke, whose heart you wish to touch, whose faith you wish to test, whose life you wish to change. It's a very powerful thing that allows people to connect with one another through space and time. And it's been proven over and over. Over 220 years later, we're still touched by the musical expressions of Beethoven. Over 500 years later, we're still moved by the magnificence of the Sistine Chapel. Over 4,000 years later, and we're still inspired by the pyramids of Egypt. Like nothing else but maybe the creation of life itself, art in any form allows us to pierce the fourth dimension and impact that which occurs through time. While our bodies are not free to enjoy such experience, we evolve, we move forward as a species because of the hundreds of thousands of years of wisdom and inspiration that's punctured a hole in the fabric of time and allowed us to carry it with us.